In today's video, we're going to be talking about why part 4 of JoJo's is the best part of JoJo's by far, and why it's one of the best arcs in shonen history. Be sure to follow my socials in the description, subscribe, and let's get on with the video. JoJo's is my second favorite anime of all time, right behind One Piece, and this arc, in my opinion, is Araki at his best. The first thing I wanted to mention was the group of characters we follow in this season. This is my favorite group from the series, and yes, I like this group better than the group we got in part 3.
Get out of my face, you bitch!
Each character is so different from the other and so unique. For example, Josuke is the best MC in JoJo's hands down. And can we talk about the nigga's drip for a sec? My boy was dripped out with the purple coat and chains, bro. He was basically Prince himself. He was the most charismatic and fun personality compared to his predecessors. And while I love Jotaro, I think he works better as a side character than the main guy, which is why he's perfect in this part, especially since he doesn't have the most charisma and he's not even that interesting to be the main guy in my opinion. And Jonathan Joestar is the OG, but he's just a super boring character that fits the story well, so it doesn't really matter. But if you take him out of that and put him somewhere else, he's cooked. And then we got his grandson Joseph, and he's cool, but I prefer him in part 3 when he's a little bit older. But moving away from the Joestars, let's talk about the other members of the team. The realest nigga out, Kochi. He has one of the most unique stands in the whole series, Echoes. One of the most unique characters, and I like the sort of mini arc he gets and learns to be confident in himself and believe in himself. I think he's a dope character that perfectly contrasts our main lead. Also, my boy Kochi got some game too, bro. Peep this. And then we have my boy O. I can't pronounce his name, so I'm not even gonna try. He just gives the group life and is a very funny character when he's on screen. Him and Josuke be having me dying at times, bro. They're just a really funny duo. I just think the cast has a very good balance with each other, and it makes the show that much better because you grow a bond with these characters. Truly one of my favorite groups to watch in any anime. But now let's move on to the second thing I love about this part. The fucking villain. I'ma just start this conversation with a very hot take. Kira is a much better villain than Dio.
I'm the type of nigga stand on business, nigga. One man arm against 50, nigga.
I mess with Dio, but Kira is just better in every single way possible, in my opinion. The only thing I'll give Dio over Kira is just how much of a big screen presence and aura Dio has when he's on the screen. But other than that, it's Kira all the way. I like how the whole season is just a case of who did it, and you get some horror movie vibe from Kira. He reminds me of Patrick Bateman, to be honest.
Hey, Pat Bateman. Nice to meet you.
Also, can we talk about how goated his stand is? That shit is so fire, and it just makes him so much more scary. The fact that he can add bombs to whatever he likes and they can go off at any time is just ridiculous, and it adds so much tension to the plot. And Kira is a straight up dog because he outsmarts each member of the team like it's nothing. He's constantly outsmarting everyone and finding clever ways to just get out of certain situations. For example, when he switches bodies with a random guy just so he can't be found, and it takes the team so long to even find this dude. And the way he gets defeated too is wild because he just gets run over by an ambulance, but I guess that's why they call it JoJo's Bizarre Adventures.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
And the scene where Kira kills the guy with the messed up face is so fucking cold because it shows how far he's willing to go to accomplish his goals. It was also super tense too, bro. Rip my dude with the messed up face, dog. And also, while we're on the topic of Kira, can we talk about the fucking drip? This dude has some of the best fits ever in any anime. But while we're on the topic of villains, the villains of the week that's in JoJo's peaks in this part, by the way, and it's obvious from literally the first episode where we meet Angelo and they end up beating this nigga up so bad he turns into a messed up rock. Another villain of the week that I liked was the episode when Kochi's girl gets her face worked on by a makeup artist or something like that, and she has to keep going back to her because it only lasts around like 30 minutes. I can go on and on about the villains of the week in this show, but holy crap, bro, Araki was cooking in this part. But another thing I liked about this season was the town background of Moro itself. I just wanted to point out that Moro is a character in itself. Unlike a lot of the other parts of JoJo's, we stay in this town for the whole 39 episodes. The whole town for me felt kind of creepy, and it's probably because of how many weirdos there are in this town. Kind of reminds me of Atlanta, to be honest with you. I also just really like the design of Moro, as well with the yellow sky and cool looking buildings, but I think keeping us in this town for a whole part makes it feel very small, and it contains story which I think worked very well. You see why the characters want to fight so badly, and that's because they want to protect their home. But even though I like the characters and the villain of this story, I still haven't mentioned my favorite part of this whole entire season, the pacing. Now, in my opinion, I think by far this is the best paced season of the whole entire series, and it's not even close. I find when I'm watching JoJo's at times, I feel like the plot drags for no apparent reason. This is why part 3 suffers a lot, because it got to the point where I just felt like part 3 was the same thing over and over again until they had to fight Dio at the end. But after a while, your mind starts to get desensitized to what you are watching. And it happens again in part 5, where I just feel like it goes on for way too long. Even though part 4 and 5 have the same amount of episodes, I really feel the length in season 5 where I don't really feel it in part 4. But here in part 4, everything feels purposeful and nothing is wasted. Even the episode when Josuke and O go into a restaurant and are so paranoid they think the worker is a stand user. It adds to the tension of the overall show, and it was a pretty funny episode, which is a huge dub in my books. The only other part in this series that I think is paced well is the first part. Every other season can feel like a chore to get through sometimes, not gonna lie, and that's coming from me, a JoJo's meat writer. At this point, I hope I've convinced you at how goated part 4 of JoJo's is. It's such a goated series that I think everyone should try at least once. It's even clinically proven and get you some more bread and hoes. Be sure to follow my socials down in the description, subscribe, leave a like, and comment on what you think my next video should be. I'll see y'all next time. Peace.